double down on your real estate transactions and your profits by utilizing business lines of credit in 2025. One of the biggest ways to increase your bandwidth for execution on purchases and investments is going to be through the means of building business lines of credit. One of the most advantageous tools that I ever utilized back in 1998 when I ruined my credit post multi-level marketing days was business lines of credit. It was my saving grace. And little did I know that that bandwidth for building business lines of credit was not only going to be my saving grace to getting back into the market, being able to buy investments, being able to scale investments, but also my bandwidth to be able to double down on those investments. Now listen to this. As silly as this sounds, my wife and I dated for over 8 years. And the reason that we didn't get married sooner was because I was purchasing real estate in her name because I didn't understand the value of building business credit. In spite of me already using it as a tool because of my bad credit in earlier times, I didn't realize that the bandwidth for building business credit was going to give me larger execution. So instead of utilizing my business lines of credit correctly like I do today, I was utilizing her personal credit, my personal credit, and we were scaling it double. I would have been able to go out and execute in an entirely different fashion provided that I knew how to go in and utilize and execute business lines of credit. Now, with that said, let's talk about how to build business lines of credit and how you can take advantage of it. All of you guys that are in California and you guys are looking at investing in some of the real estate that is distressed financially and physically because of the fires, I want you guys to pay attention and listen up. Now, it's really important that people understand what the bandwidth of building business credit can do, not just for you, but also for the rebuild of distressed assets when hurricanes hit Florida, when fires are going through California. And one of the biggest things is being able to learn how to execute on that. Now, what I landed up doing, and this is the perfect example of how you can go in and increase your bandwidth, is you're utilizing your personal credit to go in and execute on buying a piece of land, building a house. You're using your personal credit on being able to go in, buy your first rental property. But then you have a debt to income ratio that provides a domino effect in regards to the lashback that you get and halts your ability to purchase. One of the most advantageous things that I got out of building my business line of credit was the ability to expand and double down on my assets, almost like it's another human being. And not only can you double down, you can go out and build not just one business line of credit, but you can build 1, 2, 3, 4 business lines of credit, depending on how much you're scaling. And so one of the advantageous tools is that you go in and you create a business name. Now, you have to register that business in one of the states. I do like South Dakota, I do like Wyoming, I do like Las Vegas, and I like Florida. Those are my 4 states that I like the most when it comes to setting up LLCs and business structure because of the bankruptcy laws, and they're just business-friendly states. Now, with that said, you're going to have to register that LLC in the state you do business in. So if you're in Virginia, you're going to have to register it with the state of Virginia Corporation Commission in order to do business in the state of Virginia. If you're in the state of Arizona, same thing. State of California, same thing. If you're in the state of Kansas City, you're going to have to do the same thing. If you're in Oklahoma, same thing. So whatever state you're doing business in, you're going to have to also register in that state, but the state that you dominate as far as the bankruptcy laws are in the state that you register it, and you can get a registered agent in those states if you don't have a location in that state and pay them maybe $100, $150 a year to be able to be your registered agent for your LLC. Very inexpensive, very streamlined. A lot of times when you go to the state corporation commission's website, if you Google registered agents in the state that you do business in, there's third-party companies and law firms that you can hire to be your registered agent, utilize their address, their name, and you have them as your registered agent out-of-state LLCs, okay? So very simple. Now, once you've gone in and registered it with the state corporation commission, you're going to put articles of organization together. You can either do it through the means of AI, and if you haven't watched my prior video where I actually walk you through this step by step, I'm going to recommend my How to Build Business Credit video right after this video. You can click, watch, and understand exactly how to utilize AI to be able to write your articles of organization to be able to go out and streamline your business quick. Or you can go and use Prime Corporate Services, and we'll provide a link for Prime Corporate Services in this video that you can click and register and utilize them as our representing attorneys to be able to set up your business structure on your behalf. And once you go in and you get your articles of organization set up, now you can go in and legitimately get a bank account. When you get a bank account, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to go. It's time for you guys to start executing and applying for business lines of credit. Now, I always tell people it's sometimes harder to get credit cards for a business line of credit from some of the smaller banks than it is the bigger banks. So if you go to like Wells Fargo, if you go to Chase, if you go to Bank of America, one of the first questions they'll ask you is if you need a credit card for your business. And I always tell them yes, immediately. In fact, we've done a lot of business with Chase. We've done a lot of business with Bank of America. America. I have a hate-love relationship with both of them. But for business lines of credit, to be able to get a $1,000, $5,000, $10,000 credit card almost immediately, we'll go in and we'll execute an application for a business line of credit. And if you don't have any revenue for your business yet, just use your personal revenue on what you're making with your W-2 employer or as a self-employed entrepreneur, and use that revenue to be able to use as your business revenue initially. And the reason why is because you don't have no revenue. The only revenue you have to fund that business is your own personal revenue. Use your own personal revenue as the business revenue to be able to set up the foundation for your finances and your business lines of credit when you first start out. Now, how do you use this business line of credit? That's what this video is about, and how do you take advantage of it? Now, when you go in, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to utilize your own personal credit for small transactions. I never tell people with large assets, large ownership, and a lot of liabilities, like they own houses, cars, businesses, investment assets. Never use your personal name to be able to secure assets. But if you're backing these assets with your personal name, it's okay temporarily, but at some point in time, you want to de-risk your projects and take the liability off your shoulders and use the LLCs and the business lines of credit to protect yourself. So anytime we're creating a business, a lot of times we'll go in, and if it's an ongoing business where it's income producing, like a rental property, or if I'm building an apartment complex, or if I'm using one LLC to just build homes, I'll set up a business line of credit, each of those entities. And the benefit with each of these entities, when you register them with the IRS through irs.gov and you register your employer identification number, that employer identification number works as a social security number for the business, okay? It's not a social security number, it's an employer identification number, but for all intended purposes, it's equivalent to a social security number is for a person. The EIN is that for a business. And so you want to protect that. Now, two reputable agencies you have to register your EIN number with and the business with is you have to get a DUN number with Dun & Bradstreet. It costs a few dollars. Get it done. It'll pay its weight in gold as far as profits back by your use of that DUN number. It gives you legitimacy and it holds you with value as a company. And the Better Business Bureau, okay? The Business Bureau is an independently owned agency, but in spite of that, it's well respected nationwide by banks, lenders, and people. So just register your company with the Better Business Bureau. There is an application process for it. It's usually about $300 a year. It's worth its weight in gold as well. Those two reputable agencies are the two agencies you have to register your company with. Now, when you do that and you go in and you're executing on a business and you're going to buy a building, or let's say you go out and you're going to buy a piece of land, or let's say that you go out and you're going to get a construction loan, you can go in and utilize that employer identification number and that business itself as the borrower for that entity, whether it's a single family home and it's a rental, whether it's a piece of land, whether you're doing owner financing on a property, or whether you're going in and doing a HUD build for a 20-unit apartment complex, or whether you're doing a value add asset like these retail centers that are behind me right now. Doesn't matter. You utilize your employer identification number to be able to go in and take down these assets. Now, one of the biggest attributes that you'll have is building small lines of credit. Just like an 18-year-old kid coming out of high school, moving into college, getting their first credit card. You have to use it or you lose it. So if you don't use your credit, you lose your credit. So go in and you never max out your credit card. Never exceed 60% of the value of that credit card. So if it's $10,000, get it up to about $6,000, pay it off. Get it up to $6,000 again, pay it off. Get it up to $6,000 again, pay it off. So if you're building or you're doing a renovation, you're doing a fix and flip, you're going out, you're buying a piece of land, you're building a house, put your tile package on it. Pay it off with your construction money on your construction loan. If you're going out and buying drywall, put your drywall on it, pay it off with your construction loan. And every month, utilize 60% of the credit limit. It doesn't have to be perfect. If you go to 65%, not a big deal. If you only go to 57%, not a big deal. But within a threshold of reason, use about 60% of your credit line every month and pay it off. Okay, now if you don't have 60% of expenses, just use the credit line. You don't have to force yourself to spend 60%. Just try not to exceed the 60% because you want to show that you're a responsible user and that you have the bandwidth for execution and utilizing your credit worthiness as you go in and start developing your business line of credit. Now, the one thing that you have to be active in doing is communicating with whoever you have lines of credit with. So if it's Chase, after 3 months, call Chase and say, Chase, thank you for the $10,000 that you gave me. I'm ready to move up and get to a $25,000 credit line. And then they'll put in an application and request for it. A lot of times they may not give you an extra $15,000, but they may give you another $7,000 or $10,000. And so it helps increase your business line of credit. When they show good payment record, it's going to be worth its weight in gold when you go buy a vehicle for your business or you go buy a building, an asset, a rental home, a piece of land, or whatever it is. Now, you got to get trade references, ladies and gentlemen. This is the key component. And it's best to get trade references from those that report to the credit bureaus like Equifax, Experian, or TransUnion. That'll be worth its weight to you for being able to go out and expand your credit. And so trade references are very simple, guys. If you guys are in construction and real estate and you guys are doing renovations, you're doing new construction, go to your lumber supplier and ask them for a business line of credit. Use your business name, back it with your own personal credit if you need to, but get a business line of credit from your lumber company. Go down to Home Depot, get a credit card from Home Depot. Go down to your roofing company, get your roofing supplies from that roofing company. Even if you have a subcontract that's buying that stuff for you, ask your supplier. Say, I'll pay you your bid, because a lot of them get intimidated that you're going to know how much they paid for materials. They don't want you to know what their profitability is. It doesn't matter. If you select their bid, doesn't matter what they make. All that matters is that it fits your budget and bandwidth for execution. And just ask them, can I pay for the materials because I want to put this on my credit card for travel points, or I want to put this on my trade reference. I'm building my business line of credit and I just want to pay for it so I can help my credit for my business. And then pay for the materials. And then instead of paying them, you pay off the materials minus the materials, you pay them the difference. And when you do that, you're building trade references along with it. So when you go in and you go buy a piece of real estate, they're going to ask you for trade references, and they're also going to run your business credit as well. When they do that, now you have lines of credit. Now you have bandwidth. Now you have the ability to go in and start executing. And so if you have one LLC that you're building in, you can use that LLC to get a construction loan or just another business line of credit where you can actually build on, or actually to purchase the land itself. And so you can utilize that. If you have another LLC that you're going to go buy a small apartment complex with, you can go in and you can buy the materials for renovation on that business line of credit. So if it's a value add asset and you haven't got permanent financing on it and you're going to refinance that asset once you've done renovating it, you could go in and renovate with your business line of credit and then go in and execute quickly, get a stabilized loan on that asset, and then pay off your business line of credit. You can go out and utilize that for new construction as well. You can go in and utilize it for a ground up multifamily deal, and you can even use it to purchase the land in full and its entirety as you start building and growing your business line of credit. So your business line of credit will allow you bandwidth for execution to be able to ante up with more deals. And that's what's important. And so for those of you guys that are going into the market right now and questioning your ability to execute based on finances, stop making finances an issue and start understanding the benefits to building business lines of credit and doing it with multiple entities. So if you have a construction entity, get a business line of credit for that entity. If you have an acquisition LLC where you're buying apartments, warehouses, or whatever it is, get an LLC for that one. If you have a land holding company and you're holding land in an LLC, go in and get a business line of credit set up for that one. Each of the LLCs, you're going to have an operating agreement. You're going to need a bank account for revenue, accounts payable, and accounts receivable anyway, especially if you're getting rents. So as you do that, the one extra additional step is starting to establish the business line of credit. So you can utilize it, not just your personal credit, but the one for your builds. You have another business line of credit for your acquisitions, another business line of credit for your land acquisitions. And for every single business and in each individual tool and asset that you're buying, you have a business line of credit that you can execute on. So not only do you use your credit, your wife's or fiance's credit, but now you go out and you use business one's credit, business two's credit, business three's credit, business four's credit, business five's credit, and however you want to execute to expand your bandwidth for execution. Business line of credit are one of the most advantageous things that most business owners are not utilizing. You need to pay attention, you need to execute on it, and you need to start today. If you're already an existing business owner and you're not utilizing business line of credit, you're cutting yourself short. More than 80% of business owners never establish business lines of credit. And out of the 20% that do establish business lines of credit, only 2% of them utilize it correctly. The other 18% of them utilized it like I utilized it in my early years, more so as a tool for because of the lack of credit that I had, but not for a tool for growth and execution. As I got smart, I got educated, and I started utilizing my business lines of credit. And as I do today, it helps me with bandwidth for execution to take down more deals, de-risk myself, my personal assets, and other projects, and to be able to go out and grow and scale exponentially over the course of time. Right now is the time, ladies and gentlemen. Click and subscribe to my YouTube channel for more content just like this. Smash that thumbs up button, and also comment below your thoughts and resources of how we can help you with more videos just like this to expand your education, your business lines of credit, go out and compound your success and execution for 2025. Thank you and God bless.